Good day, gentlemen. Today I'm coming to you from the Deanship of the Common Year at Majma University. We are doing the English Second Language course, the online version. I am your teacher, Dale Warren, and the language skill we are covering today is speaking, and we are covering Unit 2 of the Level 3 book. The textbook we will be using is Q Skills for Success, Book 3, the Listening and Speaking book. If you've got it in front of you, it should look like this. Q Skills for Success, 3 in the upper right-hand corner. It should say Listening and Speaking, not the Reading and Writing book. And if you look in the upper left-hand corner at the picture, it is a green book. Now, I want you all, if you haven't yet got the book in front of you, please pause the video and go and fetch the book, because we will be needing it shortly. Thank you. Please pause the video if you don't have the book and go and fetch it. Okay, I take it you have all now got the book, the textbook, in front of you. Today, our lesson contents are going to be, firstly, revision on the main verbs and the auxiliary verbs, which is something we covered last week. So we just need to go over and refresh our memory. And then we are going to do count and non-count nouns, which are on page 40 of the textbook. And our homework for today is going to be taken from page 41 of the textbook. It will be exercise A, and it is an exercise again on count and non-count nouns. All right, everybody. What we are going to do first of all is revision. Remember that word revision means looking at something a second time. So when you revise, you go over something that you already know just to refresh your memory. All right, what we are revising today are our main verbs and our auxiliary verbs. So, to start our revision with a few definitions. If you only have one verb in a sentence, then that verb has to be the main verb. So any sentence where we only have one verb, that verb will be the main verb. All right, that's pretty simple. However, when we have more than one verb in a sentence, so we can have 2 verbs or 3 verbs, we have more than one verb in a sentence, the verb which comes last is the main verb. Remember that. The verb which comes last is the main verb. And in a sentence where there is more than one verb, the verbs which come in front of the main verb are the auxiliary verbs. Okay, all please say that word after me. Auxiliary. Auxiliary. Okay, we covered this last week, and as I said to you last week, an auxiliary verb is a helping verb. The auxiliary verbs help the main verb to give its full meaning. So, If we look at these examples, I have eaten my breakfast. Eaten is the main verb. The auxiliary verb is have. So eaten comes last in the sentence. It is the main verb, and the main verb comes last. And the auxiliary verb comes in front of it. I have eaten my breakfast. And that is the normal pattern, that the auxiliary verb will come in front of the main verb. If we look at exercise number 2, Ali didn't run the race. Run is the main verb. Didn't is the auxiliary verb. And once again, the auxiliary verb comes in front of the main verb. And the main verb is then coming second of the two verbs. If we look at our last example, Inaz is driving to Esfahan. Driving is our main verb, and our auxiliary verb is the word is. And again, the auxiliary verb is coming in front of the main verb. Now, last video rather, we went into the fact that certain verbs function as auxiliary verbs, and we covered the verbs to do, to be, and to have. Now, it is important to understand that those three verbs can function as main verbs, because last video we covered them as auxiliary verbs, but they can function as main verbs also. To do, to be, or to have. They can be either main verbs or auxiliary verbs. But remember that when they function as the main verb, they are the only verb in the sentence. When to do, to be, or to have is the main verb, it is the only verb in the sentence. When those verbs function as auxiliary verbs, there is another verb in the sentence, and that other verb comes after them. So let us show you in examples what I mean. All right, we use to have, to do, and to be as main verbs in these examples. I have a new car. Okay, there is only one verb in this sentence. One verb only, have. Kate has a new dress. One verb only in this sentence, has. You did it. One verb only, did. He does it all the time. One verb only, does. She is happy. One verb only, is. We are always busy. One verb only, are. So, there's only one verb in each of these sentences, so that one verb has to be the main verb. So when you have forms of the verbs to have, to do, or to be. Remember, is and are forms of the verb to be. When you have forms of to have, to do, or to be, and they are the only verb in the whole sentence, then they are being used as the main verb. Now, let us show you the difference when they are used as auxiliary verbs. When they are being used as auxiliary verbs, then they are used as we use them here. There are two verbs, and when they are used as auxiliary verbs, they come first. So to have is an auxiliary verb here. To do is an auxiliary verb here. Didn't is a form of the verb to do. Is, which is a form of the verb to be, is an auxiliary verb here. It is auxiliary because there are two verbs, and it is the one that comes first. When there is only one verb, have, did, is, then it has to be the main verb. Okay, so please understand, to have, to do, and to be can be a main verb. It can also be used as an auxiliary verb, but it depends how it is used. When there is only one verb, then it is being used as the main verb. When there are two verbs, they are being used as the auxiliary verb. Right, that is our revision of main and auxiliary verbs. What I need you to do now, we are covering count and non-count nouns. So in your textbook, I need you to go to page 40. 40. All right. Please all turn in your textbooks to page 40. And the section we are looking at is this bit here that says quantifiers with count and non-count nouns. All right. Okay, let us go back very quickly. Let us go through what exactly we mean when we say a count noun or a non-count noun. Let us do some definitions. A count noun is a noun that can take a number in front of it. So dogs are a count noun. You can say 3 dogs, 7 dogs, 10 dogs. It can take a number. Cats are a count noun. You can say 7 cats, 24 cats, 11 cats, 9 cats. It can take a number. Buildings are a count noun. We can put a number in front. I can say there are 5 buildings in this street, or there are 25 buildings in this street. Men is a count noun. I can put a number in front of it. So I can put 4 men, I can put 44 men, and 44 or 4 is a number. So a count noun is a noun that can take a number in front of it. Now, a non-count noun is a noun that cannot take a number in front of it. So, sand, air, sugar, water, petrol, happiness, love. I do not say 20 happinesses. It would be wrong. We just refer to happiness. I cannot say 50 air or 70 sugar. That would be wrong. I say sugar or I say air. We cannot count it. So it does not take a number in front of it. Therefore, it is a non-count noun. Now, in English, it matters whether you are using count nouns and whether you are using non-count nouns. Because very often the qualifiers that we use with count nouns are different from the qualifiers that we use with non-count nouns. Let us have a look at this table. If we have words used with non-count nouns, we will say much, and we can use it with a non-count noun like sugar. So I can say, I don't like much sugar. Because sugar is non-count, we would use that word much. Okay. Too much also is used with a count noun. You have given me too much food. Food is a non-count noun. So again, we can use too much with food, which is non-count. Enough and not enough. We can say enough sugar. We can say not enough food. So enough and not enough can be used with non-count nouns. But they can also be used with count nouns. All right. The words we can use with count nouns are many and too many, enough and not enough. But remember, enough and not enough can be used with non-count nouns also. Okay, if we use the word ideas, ideas is a count noun, so I can say I have many ideas about the university. If we use too many is also used with count nouns. So I can say Bada sings too many horrible songs. Songs is a count noun, so I can use too many with songs. Now, enough and not enough can be used with count nouns or with non-count nouns. So I can say, Khalid has enough ideas for the whole class. I can say Ali didn't bring enough sandwiches. For 20 people, and sandwiches is a count noun. So we can use enough and we can use not enough, either with the count nouns or with non-count nouns. But remember, much can only be used with non-count nouns. Too much can only be used with non-count nouns. Many can only be used with count nouns. And too many can only be used with count nouns. Okay. Now, let us have a look at the homework. The homework is on page 41. And what they want you to do on page 41 is look at these 6 words or phrases: enough, not enough, many, much, too many, too much, and then go through and see what fits into which block. Okay. At the top of your page, it should say, "Hey, that smells great. What are you cooking?" And the answer would be chicken, chilies and rice. Do you want to try some? Sure. Wow, that's hot. Now, our options are to fill in the block. How enough chilies, but that is not proper English. How not enough chilies, that is not proper English. How many chilies is proper English. How much chilies, not proper English, because chilies is a count noun, and you cannot use much with a count noun. You have to use many or too many. So, too many, you cannot put after the question word how. Too much, you cannot put after the question word how. So it will have to be many, because chilies is a count noun. Okay. We say 1 chili, 10 chilies. Chili is a count noun because you can put a number in front of it. Okay. And because it is a count noun, we have to use one of the words on this side. Okay. Sorry, it's a count noun, I beg your pardon. We have to use one of the words for the count nouns. Okay, on this side. Chili is a count noun, which means one of the words from those blocks have to be used. And the only appropriate answer is many. Alright, the answer for number 1 is many. So what I need you to do in the book, in that space there, write that word many, and that is your answer. Okay, now I want you to go through the rest of the exercise, and everywhere that a word is missing, first look at the noun afterwards and say, is salt a count noun or a non-count noun? Is potatoes a count noun or a non-count noun? When you know if it is a count noun or a non-count noun, then you can go to our table, and if it is a non-count noun, it has to be much, too much, enough, or not enough. If it is a count noun, it has to be many, or too many, or enough, or not enough. You need to fill in the missing words 2 to 6, and it needs to be filled in from those 6 options: enough, not enough, many, much, too many, or too much. When you have filled in all 6 options, I want you to take a photograph of this page and send it to your speaking teacher as an attachment to the email. All right. When you have filled in the missing words, one to 6 from the options in the box, then take a photograph of the page and attach it to an email. The email must be headed homework. Send that email to your speaking teacher. Okay, so very simple. That is our homework. It is page 41, exercise A. Let us reduce this again. Page 41, exercise A, and you need to take these 6 words and fill them in the missing squares 1 to 6. When you have done that, take a photograph of this page and send it as an attachment to your email. Right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and you will hear from me again next week.